Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hey everyone, my name is Debbie Horovich, and I am your host. Welcome to the Silver Linings Storycast. This is the new interview storytelling series that I'm launching this fall, 2016, and I'm really excited because today is actually the first time that I have the opportunity to interview some of the co-authors from the original volume of the Silver Linings Storybook Volume 1, which came out earlier this year. It's an anthology storybook of personal stories. It's a lot like Chicken Soup for the Soul. And what we do with the Silver Linings Storybook is we give each other space and permission and opportunities to talk about some of the worst or most humiliating experiences that we've been through in life that we actually can see how they benefited us the most and that they've caused us to grow and that they actually were the best experiences of our lives. And what we're looking to do is ultimately recognize that there is truth in the saying, every storm cloud has a silver lining. So I'm very happy to welcome you all back again to another episode and to introduce my guest today, Tracey Battle. As I said, she is a co-author in the Silver Linings Storybook Volume 1. And Volume 1 is an interesting book for me because it's almost exclusively made up of health coaches. Tracey's a certified health coach from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And she's very passionate about helping women who are stressed out in their lives. What she says that she does, Tracey says she helps women realize that their health is their peace. And life stresses will always be there. It's how you deal with them that's key. And learning those coping skills like meditation and deep breathing techniques and contribution to society are really what will help you get through. So Tracey's going to share her story with us today. Oh, I also wanted to point out another thing about Tracey that I really love. Her contribution to society, of course, she is an entrepreneur, but she's working with another company, an interesting startup called Soul Makers. And what Soul Makers does is they custom design footwear, sports footwear, for high school and college teams. So they're custom designed like to match their uniform or to have the kids' own designs on the shoes. And what's really important about it is that it's not just a business that allows people to design and express their own creativity, but also that they give back to society. And what is really valuable is that give back stays really local. So for $5 of every shoe that is purchased, I believe, and Tracey will correct me if I'm wrong, for $5 of every shoe that's purchased, $5 of every shoe that is purchased goes back to the same school where the child came that made that purchase. And so it really is, it's a great sort of, I remember when I was in high school, we used to do, because I grew up in Montreal, so every winter we would do our high school fundraising by selling boxes of Florida oranges. And we would go around the neighborhood and take orders, and in a month, boxes of Florida oranges would arrive and we would go around and deliver them. So this is a really great company, and I hope that Tracey will tell us a little bit about Soul Makers today, but she's mostly going to talk about the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and her health coaching and really how she can help you. Her focus is on helping women who are stressed out with their lives. And she's got a really compelling and maybe a little bit shocking or surprising story to tell that I know that if you're a woman who feels the effects of stress on her body, I know I do myself, you're really going to want to listen to this. So welcome, Tracey.
Hi, Debbie. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Like I said, you are one of the most active participants within the Silver Linings Storybook Volume 1. And so I'm really excited to have the opportunity to really share share your expertise and your insights, because I know that I've grown a lot just from having the opportunity to work with you. So I told the audience a little bit about your business, but I'm hoping that you can tell us more about your business, about the name of your business, and also really tell us about who you work with, who you serve in your health coaching business.
Well, first let me say thank you. I'm excited to be here today. And first thing, my business is called Pure Changes and Choices.
Okay.
And the people that I deal with, or the women that I deal with, are mostly mature women that have, and when I say mature, I'm not talking about age, I'm talking about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about women that have actually, kind of been down the road, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You could have been down the road at 20.
Yeah. Or
but
60.
that you, right. And you've gotten beat on by life, and you just don't know how to deal with it. You don't know what to do to recover.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these voices out here telling you, oh, well, just do this. Oh, well, just do that. And you get confused.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I come in and we sit down, and the first thing we do is we talk. You have to talk. You have to talk it out. And that can be hard for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of people look for a quick solution.
Yes, we do. Yes. And see, there are many people really don't realize that there are many, many different stresses, and we go through anxiety and depression, mm-hmm. and emotional trauma. And a lot of us don't understand how that directly affects our health. And I found out the hard way how it can directly affect our health.
Do you want to get into that and tell us about it?
Yeah, I several years ago, 2005, 2006, I lost my job. I worked at night, and I went to work, and within an hour I was back home. I had been laid off. I had no idea what was going to go on. It was crazy.
That's stress.
And I had no idea how stressed I was until I got laid off. Because when you're laid off, you don't have to go to work the next day. You're in shock. You're in shock. Mm-hmm. But when you come out of this shock, and then you start to live after that, and you start to realize what you thought was going to happen didn't happen, and you start looking for a job and there's no jobs there, and you start then a different kind of stress, different kind of emotions build up in you. Mm-hmm. Different kind of stressors come. You start getting anxious. You start getting depressed, especially if you don't find anything. But then for me, because I had a child, I kind of had to hide all that from him because I didn't want him to worry. Right. So that created more stress. And when you hold it in, it explodes. And for me, it exploded in a heart attack. And nothing is as crazy as you're in an emergency room, and and you don't know what's wrong, and the doctor comes in and tells you, oh, we're getting a room ready for you upstairs. And I'm like, a room ready for what? Oh yeah, you're having a heart attack.
What?
Like, that's what I said. Like, what are you talking about? I looked at my son. I'm like, what is he talking about?
Is he joking?
And he was so, as a matter of fact about it. Yeah. But he probably said that more than one time that day. Mm-hmm. Okay, but that was the first time I was hearing it. Mm-hmm. And I just, once I finally got up in my room and I started thinking, I said, you know what, I need to start taking stock. Like, what caused this? Like, what was I doing? What happened? Mm-hmm. And that's when I realized, wow, this is really what stress can do. Like, I heard people saying, well, don't stress it, don't do this, don't do that. But what does that really mean?
And stress is a killer.
Yes, it is.
It is a killer.
And the thing about our lives now is that we're so used to having everything happen now, now. And because stress is a gradual thing, we could be stressed, not know it, but think we're all right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who feel better when they say, I'm okay. Like, just don't address the stress and deal with it, and then you don't feel it. Like compartmentalizing. That's how
exactly. And see, we're
ending up in the hospital with a heart attack.
Exactly. And see, we're already living in a very, very toxic world anyway. So we eat toxins, we breathe toxins, we touch toxins, and when I say hear toxins, when you hear a bunch of when you're surrounded by negativity, it has no place to go except in your body.
Absolutely.
It goes all in there, and it affects you, and it affects the way the food that you eat even goes into your cells. All that is affected.
Right.
So, and when I learned,
how you take food in is affected.
Yes, because when you get upset, what do? Most of us now. See, that's what everybody does. But what do you eat? You eat all the wrong things.
Usually, because it's going to make you feel better right now.
Exactly. We're all looking for, and that's how we live now. We're looking for the quick fix.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same thing with diets. Like, if the diet doesn't take weight off me in an hour, I got to go to a different diet. And nobody thinks about the fact that it took you how long to gain the weight? Now you want to drop the weight in an hour? Come on, let's be realistic.
So you were in the hospital, and the doctor said to you, you're having a heart attack.
Yes.
How did that, how quickly did you start to change afterwards? Tell us about that.
I think I started changing, about maybe 5 minutes after he walked out the room. And I sat in the bed and I looked out the window and I was like, I gotta change all this. I have to change it. I don't know how, but I have to change it. And I went through some other things, and then I found IIN. And not only did I learn to become a health coach, but I learned how to take care of myself. And that was the most important thing. Like, I learned all the questions that I had growing up and asking who are they, and well, we can't eat eggs this week, but we can eat eggs next week, and we can't drink milk this week, and we can't, all that kind of stuff. All my questions were being answered. Right. And how the stress came in, how I realized it was stress is because I didn't eat a lot of crazy stuff. If food didn't taste good to me, I stopped eating it. I didn't continue eating it. So I kept thinking, why am I here in the hospital when I didn't eat crazy? It's not just food. Right. And I realized that it was stress, and I learned how to cope with it and deal with it. And I do different things now. I meditate now. I do my breathing exercises. It's still an ongoing process. Just like I said, the stresses are going to come. They're there. Stress continues to come, and that's why it's an ongoing process. Right. So you have to learn how to deal with it, how to put the stress where it belongs. It does not belong in you. And what we really need to understand is that our emotions, you have to live them. Whether it's grief, you have to live that. When my parents died, I was devastated. But I had to live through that so that I could get through it. You don't get through it by pushing it down. You really don't. It's trapped. Yeah. Okay. Go on. No, I was just saying, it's trapped in you. You never get over losing somebody. You never get over that. You learn how to deal with it. You learn how to live with it. Yeah. So what I've done is when I see pictures of my parents or whatever, what I do is I remember the good times. I remember the fun we had, the laughs we had. that I try not to think about the fact that they're gone.
No, of course not. And I mean, there's a lot of people that would say that they aren't gone. I'm one of them.
Right. I mean, when I say
still here.
when I say gone, I mean gone that I can't see them.
Yeah, you
anymore.
You can't spend time with them. You can't hold them.
Right. But that's listen, I've told my son, death is a part of life. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's a part of life. Like, my parents are still here. They see my son every day. I know that my father is proud of his grandson, and my mother is proud of her grandson. I know that. But I have to live with the fact that they're not physically here to see him, mm-hmm. but that they will see him. And you have to have a spirit within you that takes that grief away, but you still have to live it. You have to live it.
Right.
I have a friend, a client friend, and she was going through something, and I said, listen, just stop what you're doing. We can do this over the phone. Believe me, we can do it over the phone. I told her to stop what she was doing, sit down, and just relax. I told her to close her eyes, and we did a breathing exercise over the phone. And 10 minutes later, she said, you know what? I feel really better. Mm-hmm. She said, oh my God, I can't believe it. She said, I cannot believe it. She said, if you would have told me that would have helped me, I would have never believed it.
Yeah, we usually need reminders, though. We need someone to be there with us through it.
Exactly. So that's why with Pure Changes and Choices, I chose that name because healthy change is your choice. If you want to be healthy, and most people do, but the flip side is that, but what do I do? Mm-hmm. And how do I do it? And how much of a change do I want? We can talk about that. You can do big changes, you can do medium changes, you can do small changes. It all takes time. We're all different. Yeah. What a change for me that works for me may not work for you. But we got to get there first. Do you really want to do this? Okay. How far do you want to go? Okay, let's do it. We can do it. And that's what I do.
Do anything.
Excuse me?
You can pretty much do anything.
You can, but you have to believe that. You have to believe that. And right now, there's a lot of negativity in this world right now. And little by little, unfortunately, little by little, we have to push it out. Mm-hmm. We have to push it out. It all takes time. Like, it took time to get here. So it's going to take time to get away from here. It's gonna take time to go from the negative to the positive. Now, it can be a long ride or it can be a short ride. It's all up to you. And for most people, it's not as bad as they think. You think the worst of something. Oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't handle it. And the next thing you know, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. And ultimately, if you want the life that you want, that's a result of the changes, then they're kind of worth it.
Yes, it is worth it. And sometimes we need a help. We need a partner. We need a friend. Just somebody to, if you just want to spew out everything negative, go ahead. I'll sit and listen. But sometimes that's all we need. Hey, you know what? I feel better. Thanks for listening to me. Because many people nowadays feel like they're not listened to, mm-hmm. that they're not being heard. And I was one of them. And that creates stress.
Yeah.
We live in a society that creates stress so that they can treat it with a pill.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. I've been to, when I was going through I went to different doctors, and for the most part, oh, did you take this pill? Oh, did you take that pill? And one thing I'm finding is that, they give you this sheet to fill out, and you put all your medicines on it. You go back and see the doctor, and he'll tell you, oh, well, just take some Advil. I'm like, I can't take Advil. I'm on all this heart medicine. Oh yeah, that's right. I said to the doctor, what did I fill all this out for if you don't even read it? He was like, no, I looked at it. Yeah, you just looked at it because you didn't read it. That's why you have to be your own advocate. You have to do your own research. The information is out there. The one thing that I like about the internet is that the things that you need to know are out there. You just have to look and find them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say find them, I'm saying don't go on Facebook, none of that kind of stuff.
Why not? You can really. There's good content.
I mean, there are some good things on Facebook. You can't get it, but there's so much stuff out there. There's so much stuff, and I can understand why people get confused. Mm-hmm. So you need to find somebody that if you don't want to look for the answer, find somebody that you really and truly believe knows the answer. But just don't go for, oh, well, this is. Don't go for the negative without trying to find the positive. Right. I saw somebody posted something. There's actually a Facebook page that's debunking natural, nutrition. What person would want to not eat nutritious food? I don't understand that.
I had someone tell me about a year and a half ago, as just a colleague of mine, we were grabbing a quick bite to eat around lunch. And he says, I don't believe all of this like health food hooey. What you eat has no impact on your health. He says, I eat once a day. I eat crap. I eat what I like. And that's that.
Okay.
Okay. He says all of this health coach hooey is like, he says he doesn't believe it. Okay. That's, but it definitely, we know on this conversation, and anyone who's listening knows the fact that what you eat obviously impacts your body in many different ways. Chemically can impact your brain and your feelings and your emotions, not just how you physically feel.
Right. And see, that goes to my point about since he doesn't see the negative things right away, he thinks that he's okay.
Yeah. Which is what we're looking for. We're looking to be okay every day.
We're looking for instant gratification.
Well, we're looking to know that we're okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But why would you want to wait until you get to, like, I'm 54. I thought I was eating healthy. There are a lot of people that are finding out, like when my doctor told me, well, eat more fruit, eat more vegetable. I said, you wait till I'm 50 to tell me to do that?
But were you eating healthy, or is it a big change of your diet now that you're a certified health coach?
I have not made big changes, but I have made changes.
Mm-hmm.
I was already eating. I had a salad with almost all my meals.
Mm-hmm.
Already, I was eating vegetables. Mm-hmm. Now, I will tell you what did change was when my son went to college. I did stop cooking because I cook from scratch. My mother taught me that. I do that. We always had vegetables, meat, and the starch. Mm-hmm. So we were already eating somewhat healthy. Mm-hmm.
It's much healthier.
Right. So my thing, that's why I was so shocked. Like, how do I have a heart attack when I ate healthy? I ate salads all the time, blah, blah, blah. Well, It's more than just what you eat. Yes, what you eat is very important. But it's more than that. It's your emotional health. It's your spiritual health. It's your working environment. Like all that plays a part in your health.
Yeah.
Like my job at the time was extremely toxic.
Oh.
My life at the time was extremely toxic. I was going through a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. All that plays a part. And then on top of all that, to lose your job, lose your house, almost lose your car, and then just so much stuff happened to me all at once, and then I lost my job, lost everything, lost the second job, and then and then I'm in a car accident, And then the next thing, so many things happened that all culminated. And when you can feel your body, and this actually happened, I felt my body get so stressed that I was literally tensing up my hands. One day my hands were in a fist. I didn't even know why. But it was just the process of all this stuff culminating, and it culminated into a heart attack. And when my son, you know, he had to come out of college for several reasons, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, Mom. I'll take care of you." To the point where he was working 3 jobs. I'm like, you know, come on.
That's a good son.
A great son. You know, and I just, you know, all that played, like, I was so upset that he had to do that. And when all that stress and depression, when all that stuff culminates in your body, something has to give.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's you.
It's your body.
Because the stress is going to be there.
The stress is always going to be there. It's always going to be toxic.
Exactly.
And your body will always be impacted by it. So, have you really realized a big silver lining from everything that you've been through?
The silver lining for me was going to IIN and learning what I needed to learn as far as, yes, learning about the food was important, but learning how to deal with the stress, that was just so amazing to me. And the first time I did one of the exercises, I actually had a reading from somebody, and it worked to the point where it's like, oh my God, it was just like an epiphany. And now I try not to get stressed. And I'm not perfect, you know, but what I do is I do some deep breathing. And I go within and I throw it all out. I sit it out somewhere and I look at it. I'm like, you stay over there, because I'm me right here.
It's like a funky meditation.
Yeah. And then things just slowly started happening for me. Like, you know, the school was going well, and then the opportunity to do the book and talking to you, and just things just started happening. And then the soul makers happened, which you were partially correct on what you said, but yes, we're a shoe uniform company. We make shoes. We let the kids, you know, they can either style the shoes themselves, or we have, you know, models that they can choose from for their school uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that's what we're focusing on. And everything just started happening, like, oh, comes this opportunity. Here comes that opportunity. And I'm a huge believer in that God sends you opportunities. It is up to you to take them. If you don't take them, you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Right.
You can't blame.
They stop coming.
Right. They never stop coming. God sends you opportunities. Opportunities come your way all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to jump on the opportunity. If you don't jump on the opportunity, you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Yeah, and really it goes to the next person.
Yes.
Who wants it.
Yes, it does. So if you never get an opportunity, it's not that you didn't get the opportunity, it's that you didn't take it when it came. Because it did come. Mm-hmm. You just didn't see it. Mm-hmm. Or you didn't act on it. Right. Or you acted on it too late.
Or not in a smart way.
Right. So either way, it was you. It wasn't the opportunity.
Right.
So that's and that's how I raised my son.
Yeah. Yeah, I know your son just a little bit, and I've got to say for sure you do. Go-getter and a really good kid. I haven't met him in person, but we've spoken before on chat, and I can tell the audience Tracey has raised a really good son. She's a good mom in that way.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Are there any final sort of insights or messages that you want to leave the audience with? Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it's obviously shocking to be told that you're having a heart attack, and maybe a little bit unnerving to realize that the way that you've been eating or the way that you were raised hasn't necessarily always been helpful to your life. Is there any main thing that you can leave the audience with?
I think the main thing that I want to leave the audience with is that whenever you're going through something, just stop, sit down, and think about it. I mean, really, really think about it. And we don't do that enough. It is so important that you take time for you. And that's something that
do you think people know how to think about stuff or to take time for themselves?
No, they don't.
I think people don't either.
I really don't. I think a lot of times people get caught up in what other people say and what other people think about what they should do for themselves.
And societal expectations.
Exactly. And when I stopped doing that, when I stopped worrying about what other people thought and what other people thought I should do, and started doing what I thought I should do for me, that's when everything changed.
That's the key.
That's when everything changed.
Yourself.
Yes. So that's when everything changed for me, when I started doing what I thought was right for me and not what somebody else thought was right for me.
Yeah.
And that go ahead.
They've got their own agenda.
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't see that until after you've done what they said.
Yeah.
And you find out, oh, well, this didn't help me. It helped them, but it didn't help me.
I do that all the time. I give away my power. And I'm like, oh, why did I do that?
We all do it. We all do it. And we don't even realize we're doing it. And the thing about it is we've been taught to do that.
Well, be nice. Don't make waves.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to. Yeah. Especially when your life is affected by it.
Yeah. If you're having a heart attack.
Right. So and people telling me, oh, well, you need to do this and you need to do that and you should do this. And oh, wait a minute. I'm the one that had the heart attack. Like, have you had one? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And one of my problems was that the slightest bit of stress or anything I had, my pressure would go up.
Yeah.
So that's why I say when I stopped doing what other people were telling me to do, and I did what I felt was right for me, now my pressure stays normal, or actually a little bit below normal sometimes. Like I still take my pressure every so often to check on it and everything like that. And I'm doing much better than I was doing before.
But when you feel stress, you take action.
When I feel stress, I take action right away.
Yeah. And you take time away from the other distractions to really think about what the issue is that's stressing you out and really go through resolving it.
Yes. What I do is I don't repress anything like I used to. I used to put everything on the back burner.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that. I stopped putting things on the back burner. I'm like, nope, I got to deal with you right now.
Yeah. Right. I think that's really, really smart. And also, like, I think that there are a lot of relationship things that go on that we don't deal with, that we don't talk about when we should. I think that's a really
Yeah, I didn't even touch on that. That's a whole nother podcast. But yeah, I didn't.
It is.
I didn't touch on that, but that's another important factor in things. Sometimes we hold on to things longer than we should.
Right. Because sometimes we're thinking about other people who we care about.
Right. Right. Sometimes you got to let the bird free. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to open the cage and let him go.
And sometimes you got to hear that from a very smart and wise coach.
Yes, you do sometimes.
To know that you have permission. Like, I know that we don't have any reason to wait for permission for anything. We were born with permission, but we still tend to very often wait for permission from people, and not even just people that we love or who we care about, but people that a lot of times don't really care about us.
Yes. And the problem is sometimes we may know it, but we don't know it.
Yeah.
You know, we're so caught up in our, we're really caught up in our feelings that you can't see that he doesn't care about you or she doesn't care about you. You can't see that because you're caught up in your feelings.
Yeah. And you care about you.
A lot of us don't. A lot of us don't. That's why we deal with a lot of things we wouldn't normally. If we cared about ourselves, it wouldn't even happen. Because like I'm too good for this. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm too good for this. I'm leaving. Or whatever. But there's such low self-esteem in this country, actually in the world. Like if you don't look a certain way, or come on, let's stop. First of all, we need to stop that. We're too caught up on that. You're not built like some model. Like, no, and I don't want to be built like a model. They don't have no meat on their bones or nothing. I don't want to look like that. We're caught up on things. If you don't look a certain way, if you don't have this, you don't have that. We're all human. We're all one. But we're not.
Right. We're all individual.
We're all individual.
But we all do. We all have the same challenges and stresses, and we're all human.
Right. And the funny thing is, in some senses, like they tell you you're individual, but in other senses, they tell you, well, we're all the same.
Well, we are.
Just like one of the doctors gave me this medicine and it didn't work for me. And he was like, well, it works for all my other patients. Okay, that's them.
Yeah.
But what about me? I'm me. I'm different. I'm Tracey. I'm not, Sam, Joe, Mo, and Millie. So there's so much we have to balance. It's not that difficult, but we make it difficult.
Mm-hmm. How do you simplify it? Really quick before we go.
It's you. It's up to you.
Yeah. I think it's just a mental shift. I went through it myself last night before we started this podcast. Tracey and I were chatting, and I was really stressed out about a lot of things that are on my plate and impending deadlines last night. And I had to make the mental decision that I'm capable of balancing everything and dealing with issues one at a time. The next right step is what I have to focus on. And I was able to really de-stress myself by just taking 2 minutes to reconnect with my own confidence and my own ability. Because I think a lot of the stress that I was taking on was other people's expectations or other people's reaction to the work that I'm doing, which can seem very confusing and very stressful and very unlikely to many people.
Right. Yes. Right.
Unrealistic. And people are like, what? You can't do that. And I'm like, watch me.
Exactly.
To take on their stresses. And really it's a mental shift that impacts you from a physical standpoint. So I definitely
yes, it is.
agree with that. Meditation, take time, talk about stuff, don't hide your feelings. I think
yes.
we had a lot of really good silver lining realizations that came out of that one heart attack.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It for me, it made me stop and think.
Yeah. So it really was a gift in your life. If you look back now.
In that way, yes. Yeah. Yes, it was. It was the whole experience was a gift because it pushed me in another direction.
Right.
it pushed me in a positive direction. Out of something negative, a positive is coming out of it. And the best way to make it even more positive is to share it with other people.
Absolutely. Not only sharing it with other people that it helps other people, but it also helps you. Sharing.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Helps you cement it.
And it doesn't take long. Like we may think it takes a long time. It takes long to recover physically, but you can do so much better mentally in a short amount of time.
In 30 seconds, you can change your mindset.
You can change it. But you have to be committed to the change.
Yeah. You've got to be aware.
You have to be.
Because it doesn't
and don't let people that are still in this world, and I mean the world that we live in, don't let them change you. Don't let them make you go back to the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to go there. Trust me, you don't.
We're moving forward.
Right, exactly.
You don't want to have another heart attack.
No, and I will not.
Exactly. So you're making positive changes. Positive changes, pure changes and positive choices.
That's right.
I get it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of your time today, Tracey, and for sharing your story with the Silver Linings Storycast listeners. Can you let people know where they can find you and how they can reach out to you? Where's the best place to reach you if they want to work with you, or if they have any questions, or even if they just want to talk about, what's going on in their life?
Right now, I would say you can go to my Facebook is the best place to get in touch with me right now.
Okay. And Tracey is spelled Tracey. Her last name is Battle, Battle. She is on Facebook, and you'll see her friends with me. So if you find Tracey Battle being friends with me, then you know you found the right one.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everyone in the listening audience, for coming and listening to another Silver Lining story shared by real people just like yourself. If you have a Silver Lining story that you'd like to share, please reach out to me. I am available on Facebook, Debbie Horovich. I'm available on LinkedIn, and you can find me also. My website is thesparkleagency.com. thesparkleagency.com. I'm Canadian, so I'll say it both ways.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.